sure everything else is going. Oh shit! I realize I usually
Oh,
try to. I
you
get
guys
like.
smell. Sorry, my cat just took a huge shit.
Oh,
I love you, but you stink.
there's that.
You guys are just stink machines.
Luckily, no one's joined yet, but that'd be hilarious. Just coming in and like, we're stink machines. What's going on?
Yeah.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. Where?
Oh, I should
There
have
it
sent you
is.
a pic of my team. Oh,
Oh, we're going to talk about it, and I know there's a few things that we got to talk about as well. And let me
yeah,
just,
dude.
because we're going to get to. I got so basically quick outline. Yeah, same thing. We'll go through everything from last week, um,
Hmm.
and then kind of we will talk fantasy. I have it all mapped out, but yeah, we are going to go through everything. So I'm just gonna 5 week 2. Helps if I can spell week correctly. I mean, obviously when I swipe.
Hmm.
All right, we're going to pretty much get started on this soon. Just making sure we're there. Our voices are there. Ah, oh, Soto, you ready to do this? Are you ready for another
Yeah.
round of this? Good.
Week two,
So,
baby.
week two, and we are looking at picks, parlays, and pizza. That's kind of
Oh,
a
I wish I
nice.
had some pizza.
You know what? So here's the funny thing. I was going to get some for today, but the way this week has been going, I could not. Well, no, because I felt like it's just in honor of this. I felt like it had to have been done.
Do pizza
But
bites count? Maybe
sure, you
maybe
know
I
what?
could
We'll
make some
we'll
pizza
talk about that.
bites.
But I do have something for that segment when we get to it. But anyhow, we are live, and
Oh, nice.
yes, we are talking about week 2. And before we get into our picks and parlays for this week, we kind of want to recap a little bit of what happened last week.
Oh God.
Um, yeah, yeah. So anyhow, if we let's start with fantasy. Soto, I know how we did in fantasy. Your team
Hmm.
won. My team
Oh,
lost. I
I sure
lost by
did.
8 points
Oh,
because
you
of
did,
Christian McCaffrey. Because I had no, he was when my running back slot, and obviously on a Monday night game, I could
dude.
not. I picked up like the third stringer, the backup to
Yeah,
me.
he did.
I had to pick up because I could only pick up a running back. I couldn't even pick up a wide receiver.
He didn't
Uh,
get any. He
he
didn't get
got
any
he got he got
goal
a couple
line
plays. He got
yards.
nothing. I did have Kittle
Ah,
who got me 8 points because I was down by 16. So,
that's not
yeah,
bad, but still, fuck.
it's it. I look at it that way. It sucks to do a week 1 loss, but based on what my team is at, the fact that I almost
Hmm.
won without McCaffrey, like I still love how my team's doing. And now it screwed me because of the Monday night. Because at least in other times you can kind of do a little fishing, put them quickly on the bench, and then fill in that flex
Hmm.
spot. Because that's what I try to do. Anyone that might be injured or play later, put in flex if possible, even if they're going to be my high score in case of
Hmm.
this. But I only have 2 good running backs because the third I had, yeah, obviously I didn't know was Zach Moss, and I didn't know the Bengals situation. I know we're going to talk about how that game turned out, but it's like with Moss and Brown, I did not know. I'm like, but I'll hold on to Moss, and yeah, if I would have started Moss, or at least I would have won. But so I'm still confident on my team. The McCaffrey situation, at least now I have a good game plan for it if he does not play. Right now he's still questionable. He's back to that, but I don't know. So yes, I lost. I took the L by 8 points, but I'm okay with it
Oh,
because yeah, it happens. But why don't we talk about your win? You won. This is what we're talking about. You won. So
well, I was happy because as we talked about I didn't feel very confident about my wide receiver group. with Godwin, Watson, and Williams. But holy shit, Jamison Williams balled the fuck out
Hmm.
and ended up getting me 21 points. He had 121 receiving yards. Watson pretty good. He had a pretty good. He had obviously a touchdown, so that helped. And then Godwin. I mean, the Buccaneers look awesome. I can we. I just want to talk about how, and everybody's talked about this already, but holy shit, the Browns let Baker Mayfield go, and they have Deshaun Watson, and he fucking sucks, and he cost them $230 million. What a fucking disaster! I watched the Tampa Bay game, and Baker Mayfield looked great. He was making fades into the end zone. Obviously, way better than Jacoby Brissett, which we'll talk about. But Baker Mayfield was looking fucking great, and my wide receiver crew did awesome. Obviously, I got some underperformance from Laporta,
Yeah,
but
not a
I
lot though. Which
crushed my opponent really because I had the kicker from Tampa Bay, and I had Minnesota's fucking awesome defense. So McCaffrey got me 0 points, and I still won by 20 points.
yeah,
So McCaffrey was like a non-factor in my whole thing. I'd already won before McCaffrey even was a thing on Monday, but now moving forward, I'm kind of fucked because all I have is like Zach Moss as a backup.
which
I picked
still
up
that's still
it.
not going to be bad because early on I think they're going to rely on Moss a little bit more, and then Chase Brown
Yeah,
maybe later down. So it's still, and even if it's like 10 points, not McCaffrey numbers, but I think it's going to help. So
it's something. So whatever. I scored. I had a good week. I mean, obviously Minnesota is going to be going against San Francisco, so that I don't expect them to score me 22 fucking points like they did against the terrible, terrible New York Giants. Who, by the way, if they have not fired the general manager yet, I don't know if you've seen any of their stuff, but letting Saquon go to the Eagles, holy fucking shit. What a disaster that franchise is. I think Daniel Jones got a fucking contract too that was way
yeah, he
too
got a big
much. I
contract.
mean, the Giants are going to be absolutely fucked the rest of this year. That is a poverty franchise, and they've made every wrong decision. So, yeah, wow. So, Minnesota, I don't expect them to have that deep game. It's going to be a little bit tighter for me this week, I think especially with Jameson Williams. Looks like he's questionable too with an ankle sprain or some shit. Um, but yeah, my receiver team did a lot better than I thought they were going to. I was very worried that I would have to use some running back capital, maybe trade. It is wicked early.
It is. It's
So
still week one. It's still week one.
I'm not even I didn't even pick up anything on the waiver. I was waiver number 10 out of a group of 16, but thankfully I was able to pick up Alec Pierce. Just nobody picked him up on waivers. I know that he just had most of his yardage last week came from 160-yard touchdown. But it at
But it's
least
all it
provides me
takes.
something on the bench. You know what I mean? It's like I have something on the bench. If something happens, at least I have him. And if him and if he gets really going in that Colts offense, at least I picked him up. So I thought it was and it was free. And now I've moved from 10 to 6 in the waiver. So again,
Yep.
it's week one. I'm gonna wait until I put my waivers in until it's like that really like perfect one. And we'll see. No need to panic. I think. I mean, it's again like you and I were talking about. Really, things are won way later in the year. Everybody gets kind of freaked out at the very beginning, but there's still a whole entire season left to go, and there's no need to freak out about week number one. So
Well, that's the thing. I am so happy with my receiver situation. I didn't have a good group, and I still do. And I have Cooper Cup and
oh
Puka
my
being
god,
out.
dude.
That's good. And then Nico Collins. I know Say Flowers. He was kind of one of my flexes. The one that did me wrong because I had to put in a second flex, and this is where I should have put a running back. I thought he was going to have a better game because they were playing the Raiders, but Palmer did jack shot shit for me. So it is what it
Mhm.
is. But yeah,
It's
having
week one.
Cup, yeah, it's week one, and I can now at least move around. I still have a few. I have also Shakir on my bench, so I have a
Oh,
strong
love it.
bench. And so yeah, I know we're going to get to it. Shakir is playing this Thursday, so that's like, ooh, do I throw in a Thursday game? But I have until tomorrow morning. But yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm really confident with my team. I have Kenneth Walker as long as he went out with some abdominal pain, but I don't think he's going to miss more time. If I lose both McCaffrey and Walker, then I will panic a little bit. But just
Yeah,
I'll be running with Moss and someone. But anyhow, yeah, I'm pretty confident, and we'll see about this week. So, but
yeah. Fantasy
as far
football, man.
it's the way it is. But then, if we take a look at the picks we made last week on our
Hmm.
little podcast, so
Yeah.
we, so if those who don't know, we're kind of taking a look at, we're going to look at all the games, but just the 1 p.m. games, me and Soto are going to, we kind of combine by having a fun little rivalry to it too, but we're going to split them up, pick the games, and we're going to do that's our big parlay, but also we're going to kind of do a running total of who's got a better record. So last week, Soto, I went 3-1.
Nice.
The game I missed on was the Falcon. I picked the Falcons to beat the Steelers. Now I knew the Steelers were
Oh,
going to be shit, and they were. They got 6 field
yeah,
goals, but the Falcons did not do as well. Like I mean, it was like what
yeah.
18. I forget the final score. So I was like, oh. So it was a miss. I mean, Justin Fields does what Justin Fields does best. Cannot
He's gonna
get into
start
the end zone.
again.
Yeah, but you know what? So I was kind of right on Pittsburgh, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit in my parlay. So that was the one I lost, but I was right on my other three. You went 2-2. Where
Hey,
the one you
500
missed?
baby.
Well, yeah, it's still presentable. You picked the upset of the week with the Cardinals being the Bills, and we know why, but it was still a
Hey,
funny take. But
I was almost right.
you were almost right. Cardinals were in that till the end, but I want to talk about what actually was the upset of the week because you picked, and so did the majority of people, Bengals to beat the Pats, and the New England
Oh yeah,
Patriots won week one, 16-10. So, um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, so that obviously made you too because 45% of people in my knockout pool got knocked out because they took the
Uh,
Bengals.
yeah. I mean, the Patriots are decided to be like one of the worst teams in football. I walked into my dad's house, and I saw him, and I'm just like, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna watch the Pats," and I said, "We don't have to." I was like, "They're gonna be terrible," and he's like, "Oh no, let's watch them." And we did. We walked. It's so freeing to not like expect anything from your team. So we're just like, I was like, whatever happens, happens. I was like, I'm betting against them, so I don't care. But they pulled out a motherfucking old school Bill Belichick fucking win with Gerard Mayo, like the old school, like well coached, well conditioned, don't like turn over the ball, everything like that. And they just fucking. I mean, I know that the Bengals apparently have lost a few of these season openers, so it's not that big of a deal. But
A
the
win's a
Bengals
win.
were not ready to fucking play, and the Patriots fucking were. The Patriots don't even have half the fucking talent that the Bengals do, but they were just better coached and they were better conditioned, and they were on the road, and that defense was legit. So, I'm not expecting a lot from the New England Patriots. Not to get on a tangent. I think they're going to be just kind of fun to watch. Jacoby Brissett's going to be just a game manager, but they're going to be well coached throughout this whole year, and they're going to be in most games that they're in. I think that there's still a few more surprises and upsets that they'll have down the line. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, mostly this game was just the Bengals crapping their pants, though.
Yeah.
Especially with fumbles like by the goal line and everything. That was hilarious. But I mean, the Bengals. If you're thinking that the Bengals are anything that's going to be, top tier AFC, I'll tell you right now, that team is fucking trash.
No, they are. They definitely proved it. And I know they had the Jamar Chase situation early on, and that happens. But overall, that team did not look
No,
like anything. And I know people are like,
no.
oh, Joe Burrow's back. And no, I mean, before the game, obviously, the team was going to be back. No, the Bengals definitely shit themselves. So, but, because of that, year 2-2, still 500. So we were
Yeah,
five
I'm
and
okay
eight. We
with it.
didn't hit that parlay, but, I got a 1 game lead. But then we did fun 4 pick parlays. My parlays, I nailed 2 out of 4. Real quick, I was right about Will Levis being under against the Bears. I think people still sleeping on the Bears defense. Yes, their offense, as we saw, is still
The Bears
questionable
defense
in
clearly won
special
that
teams.
game.
They whooped his ass. I
They
was
had
also
no offense.
uh, no, they didn't. Not. But here's the thing: they also didn't turn the ball over. So they, yes, they had no offense, but they made no mistakes. They just couldn't, get. They just couldn't score. But then I had
So Bears.
Pittsburgh and Steelers over 2.5 turnovers. They had multiple turnovers, so I hit on that because I knew the Steelers and Falcons were shit. Then speaking about the Pats, the one thing I was surprised at was the Bengals. I mean, obviously we hindsight, but Bengals only had 1 sack against the Patriots. The
I
Patriots O
know, and
line
that's a
out of
terrible O line.
everything I know that. So I picked like Hubbard just to get 0.25 one of the, and he obviously didn't. And the one shocker is, I knew the Panthers were shit, and I thought, well, the Saints aren't going to be as good either. I took the under at
Oh,
41
the
and a half.
Panthers are bad.
They are, but the
Ugh.
Saints aren't that great. But the Saints scored 47. That blew my under. So I was like, what? I mean, it is what it
Panthers are
is.
bad, bad though. The
Oh, they're
Panthers are
bad, bad.
bad, bad. They're bad, bad. Like that's gonna be a number one, number two overall pick in the draft. That team is fucking terrible.
But yeah, so I in my parlay I got two right, two wrong, 500. Soto, your parlay, we kind of gave you the offensive power, and
Hmm.
uh, you went 0 for 4.
Oh
CJ
wow,
Stroud. Well, I mean, I asked you to pick a 300 pass. It's funny, 300-yard passer. You picked CJ Stroud, which to me would have
I thought
been
that
an
was gonna
easy.
be the game of the week.
Yeah, and it turns
It
out
wasn't.
two. No, well, no, no, no. It was a great game. They won 29-27. So it was still. It was not the passing game we thought he'd have. Tua, I think, was the only 300-yard
I think
passer
only
last
two
week.
quarterbacks like fucking like actually
If
had.
something
Right? It's
happened,
only
yeah,
two quarterbacks.
maybe I don't. I can't. Sunday or Monday night. But I just
It was a
remember like
terrible passing like
it was.
week for the NFL. Yeah,
You had Mike Evans, 100 plus yards receiving. He didn't hit. Brees
he
Hall,
had two
seven.
touchdowns.
He did. He went off, but he didn't have the yardage. I think he ended up under 70. Brees Hall,
Wow.
we had like 70 plus yards, but he didn't hit 70. And then any
No,
touchdown
the
scored,
Jets are
Bijan
trash.
Robinson,
Love
and
that.
yeah, Falcons just shit the bed too. So anyhow, yeah,
Yeah.
our parlays will probably keep it simpler once we get to it a little bit later, because we're going to do our parlays live. I'm actually going to do it off the phone, and we're just going to see what the fuck
Wow.
happens. Yeah, I'm just going to
Okay.
ask you, but I think we're just going to keep it simple. 3-pick parlays, because the thing is, there is 10, 1 p.m. game, Soto. So we have a huge 10
Wow.
leg parlay. We split it up to 5. But before we go into those picks, you know, we jokingly, because last week you were eating pizza, because
Ah,
this
so
week
good.
we don't have a pizza sponsorship, quote unquote. But anyhow,
I
this past
wish
Monday we did talk about the perfect slice of pizza.
we sure
And we
did.
if people haven't seen this, watch this video because it's hilarious. It gets a little heated for us for not a lot of things do, but when
No,
you
the
talk
buffalo
about it,
wing. Yeah.
you talk about another man's pizza, another man's food. You're like, yeah, yeah. Now opinions were, thrown down and made fun of, but, just, but yeah. So if anyone's watching this after the fact, check out our video. Yeah, it was a perfect slice of pizza. It's a hilarious conversation and probably one of the best from an earlier podcast. So
It's passionate.
it was very passionate,
Passionate. We're
but
we're
it's pizza.
passionate men about pizza.
I think we're just passionate about
It's
food. I mean,
well, yeah, about pizza is special though. I mean, we talk about Ninja Turtles a lot. Um, and pizza's a big part of that. But yeah, no, that was definitely one of the more. Even listening back to it is one of the more fun, podcasts or little bits that I've had. It was so good.
But yeah, so that's kind of a quick roundup of our picks and everything last week. But you know what?
Hmm.
Let's do what we came here to do. Let's start taking a look at week two, and
Okay.
that's the kind of the big thing. We got a lot of teams. There's 16 games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through our picks, and we're even going to look at the games we didn't pick and just kind of talk quickly about them. So the first one, and I'm going to give this one to you, Soto, just because you are a Pats fan. Thursday's game, Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins. Now, obviously, the Dolphins are favored, and I know last week's podcast, you were like, "Fuck the Bills, fuck the Bills, fuck the Bills." But if you
Hmm.
had to pick a winner here, who are you picking? Are you sticking with
Dude, I'm picking the Dolphins, man. Look, like Josh Allen balled out for me on my fantasy team last week, but they showed that they were vulnerable, and I think that was at home against the Cardinals, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, the Dolphins they also didn't look great at the beginning of their game last week, but
they
I
turned it
got to
around
go with the
though.
Dolphins. I think that they're the kind of elite of the AFC East, and I think I'm going to stick with them as my Super Bowl pick. Although
Oh
it's ridiculous now.
no, 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 no,
So
no.
yeah.
Before we move on, I forgot about that. That was the last of the recap. So yes, we because the whole idea of this is we're just doing a few joke dollar parlays, like we're not spending a lot of money, but we made Super
No,
Bowl picks last week,
we
and
sure did.
so you picked the Niners to beat the Dolphins, and
It's
right. Oh,
1980s already again.
well, I
Yeah.
don't know. Dolphins are 70s. Dolphins weren't relevant. They made one Super Bowl in the 80s. Marino's rookie year, and they never went back. They haven't been back since Marino's rookie year. So I would say 70s. But either way, yeah, old school. But so we did do a quick dollar bet on it, and you have the bigger odds, but that would net you $90 because it's 9,000 plus. And every week we'll
Woohoo!
kind of look, yeah. So we'll see, But both your teams are 1-0. And then despite popular opinion, because as much as I don't want it to happen, I feel this is Chiefs are going to three-peat. I know we joked about this.
Oh,
I
fuck
know,
that.
you, we're not going to get into this every week, but they won, and so did my. I think they're going to beat Detroit. I think Detroit's going to be. There's always a sneaker every few years, and I think they're finally going to make their first one and get their asses kicked. But that I had better odds, and I think that was like 4,000 plus, so $1 gets you like $40. So we're going to kind
Fuck
of
the
monitor
Chiefs,
that.
man.
You can say fuck the Chiefs, but let's be honest. I mean, they're the Chiefs. There's a reason why they can win with. Doesn't matter who's on the field, and they
Look,
proved
here's
it.
the thing. I think Patrick Mahomes is declining. That's fine. I had this conversation with a buddy of mine. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl, and Peyton Manning wasn't even throwing spirals. So, the overall team for the Chiefs, I can say that the overall team is very good, and they're going to be a threat. I don't think it's going to be because Patrick Mahomes, and anybody who saw the last game is going to know that. You can call me a Patrick Mahomes hater all you want. I don't care. But Patrick Mahomes can fucking suck my balls. That's it. That's my hot take.
That's your hot take. Even though he
Hmm.
looked great in the Super Bowl, just because you have one bad game, I'm
Whatever, man.
just
That guy
gonna.
sucks. He had one of his worst statistical years last year. Okay, you can look up the numbers. He had one of the worst. Again, they're vulnerable. I will
Didn't we say
concede.
this last year?
th- I will concede and say that there's not really a lot of challenges in the AFC. So you have me there. But I think that if they do make it to the Super Bowl, there's a really good chance they'll be beaten by the NFC opponent. But that's where I'll leave it. I would love to see them go out in the second round or whatever after their bye. But I'm just saying, I don't believe in the Chiefs.
Okay,
Fuck the
we'll see.
Chiefs.
We'll see how this goes. And yes, both my teams are 1-0. So all the teams we picked for the Super Bowl are currently 1-0. So we're riding high. So anyhow, that's we're gonna monitor that from week to week. So
Hmm.
yeah, we both picked the Dolphins, hands down, in Miami. You're right. Miami started off slow against Jacksonville, but that offense, the thing to look for is the running backs in Miami because was it our
Ooh,
chain is
yeah,
out, and most
they're
and
both going to be out.
well, the most are not official, but it looks like he will be. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, I actually just picked up the backup to Mostert. So if he is out, if they're both out, I'm
Who's the
slotting him.
backup?
His name was like Wilson Jr. I don't even know, but I picked him up. So
Oh
if
God.
they officially slash Mostert, um, and he will be the starter. And yes, it's a 1 week fix, but I can throw him in the flex, and this will help me just in case in the McCaffrey situation. But I also
Yeah.
did this to keep from my opponents from picking him up too. So yeah, but
Bro,
we'll keep an eye. That's
picking
the only
up
thing.
right now.
If you can, um, are you literally picking him up right now? Is
Yeah.
he available?
He's available in my league right now.
Oh, I would 100% pick him up because the worst case scenario
I'm
helps you 1 week and then
yeah.
stash him. Just keep him as a stash. But yeah, it's not
Dude,
going to
I'm
be a long
dropping the
term.
fucking kicker from Detroit.
Yeah, I dropped Khalil
Why do I
Herbert
have
because
two
I.
kickers?
Oh, what? Yeah,
Dude.
why do you have two kickers? You
Well,
should,
okay, so at the last minute, I realized I had four fucking Detroit players, and so I
Oh,
picked
that's
up the
true.
Tampa Bay
That's
kicker,
true.
who went off, by the way, and did a great. He didn't go off as much as the Steelers guy did with Moody, I think his name is maybe.
Hmm. Oh,
Um, he fucking had like a week like running backs have week.
yep.
So I just picked up fucking Jay Wilson Jr., Miami running back.
Yep. Stash
Um,
him.
just picked him up now, dude. Just picked him up now. He was available without anybody else picking him up on a Wednesday night. He was just available without me costing anything. I just had to drop my other kicker.
Yeah.
That's all I
No,
had to do.
and that's the part. I picked him up earlier because, like you, I did not want to waste my waiver because I was 12th. I was 10th. Well, I was 10th going in because there's 12 teams. I was 10th going into the first week. But
Yeah.
I wasn't. Funny thing is, I wasn't confident. I wasn't sure about the Dallas D against Cleveland. Obviously, I was wrong, but I picked up Seattle's D because they were playing Denver, which still scored me a lot of points. Weirdly enough, though, Dallas would have scored me more. So I had to waste. I was low. I'm like, let me get a stronger D because Seattle's playing New England. Now, I know that's an iffy, but I don't think New England's going off in Seattle. So I think Seattle can still net me some points, but they're not going to lose the game for me because New England's not scoring 40. They might win.
Yeah.
They might beat Seattle, but they're not going to score a lot. So
No.
we're gonna get to that game in a second. So anyhow,
Yeah,
so
Raheem
yeah,
is out. Raheem Mostert is out.
is he officially listed
Um,
as out now?
he's out. He's ruled out
Okay,
for the game. And then how do you say this guy's name? Achan?
Archain. I don't know.
Archain. He's considered a game time decision.
Oh, so maybe I got that backwards. I knew one was officially out and one was game time. So I
But the
thought
fact that
it's
this motherfucker was just available in my league, just sitting there, I just was like, oh, great
just
point.
take
Let me
it.
see if he's available in my league. He's just there. He's
He
just there.
and you have a 16 team league. That's hilarious to me because
Yeah.
so I
Yo,
yeah.
motherfuckers be sleeping right now, dude. It's like, thank God for this podcast, dude. It's like, that might be a
You
fucking
know,
amazing pickup
that
right there.
if you keep an eye on it because I know you might be late night game, but keep an eye on it. Slot them into your flex or your
Yeah.
But all right, so that's the Thursday game.
Wow.
So now we're gonna go into our
I
10
love this
picks.
podcast already. This is great. This is like helping my fantasy team.
All right, so real
Nice
quick,
pickup.
Soto. So this game is yours. Cleveland at
Yes.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Who are you picking to win?
I have to go with Jacksonville. I mean, the Browns are fucking terrible. Like, I mean,
And Deshaun Watson is
Deshaun
terrible.
Watson is just what happened to Deshaun Watson?
I don't
I
know,
had
but
Deshaun Watson on many fantasy teams back in the day, and he was like up and coming with the Texans. Like, he was great. He was fantastic. He had so much potential, but I know it was against the Cowboys, but he looked like dog shit.
he did. And now with the other lawsuit coming up, and from what I
Oh
heard,
my God.
well, here's the thing: there is and I don't know how much of this is true, but there's a backdoor clause. If this lawsuit, depending if it goes to court, Cleveland can get out of this contract. They can't do anything about
No
the picks.
way.
There is something where Cleveland, depending on how this plays out, Cleveland can get out of the remainder of the contract. And
No
there,
way.
yeah. So I think a lot there is some clause in there. And again, I don't know how 100% true it is. I did not go deep into the article, and obviously it's not like we're insiders. But from what I quickly read,
No.
yeah. So depending on how much this new lawsuit goes, if it goes to court, Cleveland can cut ties and not lose any money. Yes, they would have lost
No,
all their
dude,
picks.
they deserve the karma, man. Like, I mean, Baker
It's
Mayfield was
Cleveland.
fucking Baker
Fine.
Mayfield
Yeah.
was fine.
Yep.
And now Baker Mayfield is straight up balling in Tampa Bay. It's like, the karma is not on the Browns side. And this was a team that was like kind of up and coming. And I like Baker Mayfield there, and he was like homegrown. But
Yep. Cleveland
you
just fucked
decided
it.
to make a deal with the devil and,
lost.
basically fucking trade for a guy and like put your whole franchise into the hands of a guy who's a fucking like clearly like has all these allegations of sexual assault. And but the thing is though, Deshaun Watson was like not only good like athletically and everything, he was good mentally. He was like just hearing him talk in press conferences, like you knew he knew the game. And to see him fall off just like this is absolutely amazing. And again, I don't foresee any way that his ass goes on the road to Jacksonville, a team that did very well against the Dolphins last week.
Oh yeah, and they're a decent team.
And the Browns just fucking beat them? No, dude. I know it's the NFL, but I can't imagine that like Deshaun. I mean, you had all offseason to prepare for that first game against the Cowboys, and you looked like that.
Yep.
You know
And
what I
as-
mean? So that's just basic like sports, kind of just observations. Like, that team is not ready. It always starts with your quarterback. The Browns are not ready for it. The Jacksonville Jaguars, this was an easy pick.
Yeah, no, and I'm surprised Jacksonville's only favored by 3 at home. I suspected that
Me
to be
too.
a little bit more, but it is what it is. But I'm with you, Jaguars. But this is your pick, so we're going to go with this is on your side on win or loss. So for my first game that I had to look at for the 1 p.m., Raiders at Ravens. Ravens favored by 9. I mean, obviously we're just picking up straight up winners. We're not picking lines, but yes, I think Ravens are going to blow them out by 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Raiders look like shit. Ravens, always play hard. Yes,
AFC contenders, man.
every
100%.
year
They almost
there's a
beat the
reason.
Chiefs.
Yeah, and they should have. It was just a toe tap away. Even I have Zay Flowers. I was thinking about picking up Justice Hill just as a handcuff in case Derrick Henry goes out, but because he's still available. But either way, there's no way. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, anything can happen. We just said it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that both of these teams are playing, their organizations are. Ravens. This is to me a blowout. I would even take, like I said, the 9 points. But we're just playing, straight up. So yes, my pick easily Ravens. I don't think anyone will question that. If you had to pick a team to win, this might be the most lopsided like odds out of all the games we're seeing. So
Yeah, I cannot imagine the Raiders upsetting the Ravens. I really can't. I can't.
especially not in Baltimore. So
No.
no, they're going to run
And
all
the
over
Ravens
it.
are looking to bounce back from the first game, and they're going to.
Yeah, and they're going to eat this team
because
alive.
they're a team that could be up there with the Chiefs. They proved it.
Yeah.
They were on the road in Arrowhead, and they almost stole that game. So yeah, um, easy pick.
All right, so your next game, and this is interesting because we talked about McCaffrey earlier, but we're San Fran at Minnesota.
Yeah,
San Fran is favored at 6, but who do you think is going to win? Who is your pick to win?
favorite at 6 on the road, which
Yeah.
I think is crazy. Like I think that the Vikings, I always try to take defenses at home. That's like obviously just basic sort of like sports predictions, but um, I really liked what the Vikings did last week. I know it was against just the Giants, but I still see the Vikings defense is very strong. It's got Brian Flores as defensive coordinator, who I know very well. And I just think that, it may not be what it was against the Giants, obviously, but based on everything that's going on, I have to give the edge to the Vikings. I think that's a legit defense, and I think their offense is going to do just enough. So,
Darnold surprised me
yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
saying I was expecting big numbers, but he did surprise me. But it's tough. This is a tough pick. Just because San Fran, and they are dominant. And to me, if McCaffrey was 100%, um, I would probably disagree with you and take San Fran. I would take anyone betting line Minnesota plus 6. This is a field goal game easily.
hmm
Does San Fran still win? It depends if the Vikings can stop Mason because I'm going to assume McCaffrey's not playing again. I know it's questionable, but
I'm assuming he's not.
yeah. So but it all depends. This will be the test for the Minnesota D. If they can keep
hmm
this close, keep this in hand, they could pull it off. I mean,
Yeah,
they have Justin Jefferson. They have a quick weapon, but you're right about that D. So if McCaffrey was 100%, to me this would be easily be San Fran. But the fact that he's not, yeah, you know what? You could be right. You could be right. I might still pick San Fran, but this was the one you ended up with. So obviously we're going with
I
it.
mean,
I know
I've
it's
seen Brian Flores. I know he's a good defensive coordinator. He might not be a good head coach, but Brian Flores knows how to run a defense. So,
yeah.
and they're going to be at home. This is their home opener, right? So I
Oh,
imagine
that's right.
that's
Yeah.
going to be a loud situation. So, defenses at home always a good defense at home has such an advantage because of the noise factor and everything like that. Um, so I can't imagine the Vikings. I mean, their offense may not get there. I know the 49ers have a pretty good defense, but I still have to go with the Vikings.
It's tough. Like I said, the McCaffrey thing. So, all right. The next pick of mine, I am taking a look at the LA Chargers against at Carolina. We kind of
Oh,
spoke about how bad Carolina is, and I still think
so
they're
bad.
horrible.
They're terrible.
Chargers did not play well. I actually have Palmer, who I put in my second flex, and he only got me a few points. I'm probably still going to keep him benched, but this is a tough one because it's against Carolina. That's a fantasy thing. But either way, I'm still picking the Chargers, no doubt. I mean,
Yeah,
they're going to smoke Carolina. Um,
yeah, much
it's
better team.
Carolina's. They're going to get the number one pick. They're going to have the number one pick and probably be able to keep it this year. They're just horrible. I mean, the Bears. We'll see what happens with Caleb Williams. But yeah, I mean, I cannot. Bryce Young, and I think their running back might be a little injured, Hubbard. So it's a messy situation. It's a messy.
Yeah,
But this
this is
this
pretty easy.
if Chargers does not come out, if this game is closer than 3 points, then yeah, everyone on the Chargers do not put them in fantasy. I know they're not going to be great, but I don't know. I still thought a Harbor-led team would score a little bit more points, and they just bombed last week. But we'll see. But yes, to me, Chargers are going to smoke Carolina. So
I'm just pissed the Chargers aren't in San Diego. I fucking hate this whole LA shit.
I
What the
agree with you.
fuck, man?
I agree. So you got this one. This is great. Seattle and New England. Your team, the
Yeah.
Pats. Seattle is favored, not by much. But what are your thoughts on who's going to win?
I mean, I have to go for the Patriots only because I just shit on them last week and they're at home. It's going to be their home opener, which means they're probably going to lose. But no, the Patriots are going to be well coached. They're going to play a solid game. I really like you said earlier, they're not going to score 40 points, but I think that they're going to play mistake-free football and they're going to pull this one out. I fucking hate the Seahawks. The Patriots have never had any issues with the Seahawks whatsoever, so I'm not sweating this. I think that this is going to be not an easy win, but it's going to be a win for the Patriots for sure. So I'm not going to bet against them against the Seattle Seahawks. Talk to me as the season goes on, and sure, I'll go for other teams, but I think that the Patriots they're going to open up season 2-0. Fuck the Jets.
and that will be the shocker of the season if they start 2-0. I
They're
agree.
gonna start 2-0.
You see the point line. Even Vegas and DraftKings are thinking this is a low scoring game, and I
Mm-hmm.
agree. This is a defensive game.
Mm-hmm.
I would take the pat. I'm not. It all depends on the running situation. This is going to be Walker against Stevenson, and if Walker's back to 100%, Seattle might have the edge, but regardless, I would take New England plus the 3.5 because I'm.
Yeah.
This is a 2 point game. This is like you said. Neither team's going to score a lot. Hopefully, as long as, like you said, who makes the least mistakes. I have the Seattle D. So personally, from Ann Walker, so fantasy, I just want to see them do well. But this is a coin flip, and but I with the line, take New England. They're getting three and a
Yeah.
half points at home, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the insanity. So, all right. So the next game that I get is was it New Orleans at Dallas Cowboys. The
Ooh.
Saints just came off a 47-point whooping of Carolina, and Dallas. Their offense wasn't great, but their defense looked great. I'm easily taking the Cowboys at home. I don't. I think the Saints just showed up because they're playing Carolina. I don't think they're as
Mm-hmm.
good as they are. I do
No.
like Kamara and Taysom Hill's sneaky, but yeah, Dallas. I think just because of the CD Lamb situation, everything that's going on, I think they're going to
Yeah.
find a groove. I mean, it's Dallas. I mean, like I said, a lot of people hate them, and understandably so. But there's a reason why pretty much they get double-digit wins almost every season. So, yeah, I
I agree.
think I think Cowboys easily win this. I think the Saints are gonna. I don't know. They I don't know if they're gonna shit the bed, but they're not winning this
They're
one.
not
Not in
winning.
Dallas. No, they're
No,
not
not in
winning. Not
Dallas.
in
It's
Dallas.
their home opener. Dallas just had a great game against the Browns. Um, I can't imagine the Saints. Who do they have? Derek Carr, quarterback. Is that true?
Yes. Yep. Carr.
Yeah. That's no. So
Yeah.
no.
I mean, he had great numbers because they were playing Carolina. But against this
Olaf didn't even
Dallas,
get any fucking points in that game, did he?
I don't know if he didn't get any points. I know he did
He
not
got
do
barely
well.
any.
I know it was
No.
a very tight end running back situation. I think it was very small, like short passes, or like
Yeah.
screens and stuff. For what I wasn't watching the game. I did not outside of the seeing Dak because I have Dak Prescott, just trying to see his numbers. I was not
Hmm.
into it too much, but yeah, from I don't know. We'll see. Actually, yeah, we're talking about the Saints here. So I'm combining these two games, so and I'm confused. I did not see the Saints because I did not want to see Saints in Carolina. There's no need to see that
No.
game. Um,
Nobody wanted to.
no,
No, but it happened.
yeah, but yeah, again, New Orleans. I mean, Kamara will get his points, but overall, Dallas D is going to crush this team probably. So, all
Hmm.
right, so this next game is going to be an interesting pick because it's yours.
Oh God.
Jets at Tennessee.
I
Um,
saw this. I did this before I saw the Jets on Monday night.
Yeah, but well,
Oh.
it's official because the pick was put in this morning.
Yeah, it was. It
It
was.
was, but go ahead. I give you the floor.
I mean, I picked the Jets. That's fine. I saw them on Monday night. Okay, they played the 49ers, but Aaron Rodgers had like no chemistry at all with his wide receivers. Aaron Rodgers is fucking 40 years old. I still think that they could win against the Titans, but um, I wouldn't be surprised if this is my fuck up of the week right here, especially on the road. I mean, the Jets team just looks like dog shit, and I'm here for it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna pick the Jets to win, but I'm not confident about it.
Well, here's the saving grace that I'm gonna give you on this. Obviously, I had more of an eye on the Tennessee because they were playing Chicago, and I did
Hmm.
tell you, Will Levis is not, even though he's got some more weapons and DeAndre Hopkins and stuff, like this isn't it. That Jets D
This
is going
isn't
to eat
it.
him alive. And I do agree with you. I think the Jets,
Yeah,
obviously, they're favorites. The Jets will win. You're right about their offense. Give Aaron Rodgers a little time. Anything's possible. I think because
sure.
Lazard got some points
He
fantasy
did.
wise, and I thought about picking, but my wide receiver is so set. Like I have 4 or 5 strong ones, or
Yeah.
I couldn't even pick them up. Just a stash. But yeah, no, Tennessee, they have some good receivers, but Levis is not the guy. And I think the Jets D is what's going to win the game. And that, it's Aaron Rodgers. You're right. He doesn't have the chemistry, but if he stays healthy, he'll get there.
Hmm.
That team will get there. I'm not saying they're going to win the division or anything, but they will win some games and they'll definitely win this one. So I
Yeah.
agree with you. All right.
Aaron
This one
Rodgers,
is,
man, is 40
this,
years old. He looks 10 years older than Tom Brady.
This to me is despite the fact that Detroit is
Ooh,
seven
this is a
points
good
favorite.
game.
I was like, out of the 1 p.m., this might be the, I know you're a New England fan, the game of the afternoon for me.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
agree.
despite the like I said, Tampa Bay showed out a little bit, and they're a lot
They
better than
did.
I think people take. But
Oh
as
yeah,
I said early
absolutely.
on, Detroit, I mean, they squeaked one out, and
They did in
they did.
overtime. Thank God
They
I had
did.
Montgomery.
And yes, and the guy I was facing had Gibbs, so I'm glad Montgomery got most of the rush. I mean, I was kind of, but anyhow, um, at home, I cannot see Detroit losing this. I don't think they're going to win by 7. I would actually take Tampa on the points in this, but straight up, yeah, I'm sorry. The Lions, as I've been saying, I hate to say it, being a Bears fan, it's tough, but this is the Lions' year.
It's a
They're
good
finding
division, man.
it
It's a
is,
good
but they're
division
finding ways to win.
outside the Packers.
Yeah, fuck the Packers, which we'll get to later. I see, at home, Lions definitely win this game. I
Hmm.
can't see Tampa Bay is going to compete. I don't think this is a 7 point win. So if you're
I can
taking the
see the
points,
Buccaneers beating them though.
it maybe. I mean, it could happen. I
I can
mean,
see
if
it.
it, the
I can
money
see it.
line, the points is at 51, so they think it's going to be a high scoring game. So it could happen. But right
I can
now,
see
like I
it.
said, for that dollar, or I guess 10 cents because it's 10. I have to go with Detroit. So
Yeah, it's a safe pick. I mean, but I could definitely see the Buccaneers pulling this out for sure. It's football, so if Week 1 taught us anything, it's like anything can happen. The Lions didn't look that great Week 1, but again, preseason's not what it used to be
no,
because they sit people out. So it's like the first couple weeks are a lot of these teams kind of figuring it out, so you don't really know how they're going to be. But I really liked. I saw the Buccaneers game. I liked what they were doing. Um, so again, I think the Lions is a safe pick. I hope they win because obviously I've got three of their players in my starting lineup with Montgomery, Laporta, and then Jameson. But we'll see. Jameson's questionable, so hopefully he can make it in there. But I could definitely see the Buccaneers pulling this one out.
it's possible. All right, so for your final 1 p.m. game, um,
Yeah.
I would say this is probably the ugliest game of the
Oh
afternoon.
yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I
Yeah.
could be wrong. I'm trying to look back, but you just look
Yeah.
at New York Giants at
I'm
Washington.
only I'm only taking the Commanders because they're at home. The Giants are not going to come back like looking that great. The Commanders, the Commanders have it at quarterback.
Yeah, they
I'll tell
well,
you they have the advantage.
yep. Jaden
So I think the
Daniels.
Commanders have a slight edge. I'm not going to pick the Giants to win games this year. The Giants are going to be one of those top, like, one of the teams looking for the top picks as well. Somebody's going to get fired on the Giants.
Halfway through the season,
And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to say it right now. Week 2, Bill Belichick's going to be the GM and the coach of the Giants next year.
You think you would want to go back? Yeah, I guess that could happen actually.
The Giants is his team, dude. It's perfect. They're
Yeah,
terrible. Um, I know I like Dayball, but Belichick, this would be the perfect fit for Bill Belichick is the New York Giants. That would be
he
the
could have
perfect
more
way for
control.
it
He
to
could
end
have
his
more
career.
control in the
That's
Giants
his
than the other
team,
team.
dude. Like not the Jets. Like the Giants are Bill Belichick's team. They've always been. That's where you got to start. And the Giants are going to suck. Bill Belichick's going to take over, and that's it. So I got the Commanders by a whisker.
And yeah, it even shows you the point spread's 1.5. So this is the closest game
Hmm.
out of everything we are kind of seeing, I believe. But I agree with
Just
you. And Giants
diarrhea.
are shit. Commanders, you know what? Jaden Daniels is looking decent for a rookie. He had, I'm not saying he's going to show up, but he was the second pick overall. So yeah, no,
Hmm.
I cannot see the Giants. I mean, anything could happen, but I'm
Hmm.
with you. All right, so
Yeah.
my final pick. And I'll be honest, as much as I'm going to say, fuck the Packers, the fact that Jordan Love is out, I have to take the Colts. I know it's in Green
Ooh.
Bay, and if Jordan Love was in, I might be able to take the Packers. But yeah, Colts are 3 points favorites. The Packers aren't anything without Jordan Love, and I don't even know who their backup is. Now, their defense might show up a little bit, but we just saw the Colts and the Texans, in a 2 point shootout. I say shootout 29-27. Um, and they just have more offensive power. So I don't know if Green Bay's defense, and I think their offense is going to make a lot of mistakes. I think without Jordan Love, I think this is going to be more lopsided than people think. So I have to take
Hmm.
the Colts. And plus, as you know, you're with the fuck the Bills, fuck the Packers. Now, if
Yeah.
I can be reasonable when it's a reasonable pick, but to me in this situation, there's no way. I mean, the
At
Packers.
Lambeau, the Colts winning at Lambeau Field is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I am 100% saying that with the Packers and a backup QB, blah blah blah. But yeah, I'm saying that it's not cold yet. If this is winter in the frozen tundra, as they like to say,
Your
I can.
hatred runs deep.
Oh, it does. But you know what? I know I would pick the Packers if because when you put something on the line, yeah. And I don't have any fantasy players from either of these teams, so I don't care. But yeah, I'm sorry. Without Jordan Love and he's out for a few weeks, the Packers are cooked, and I think we're going to see it. But anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, no, I like the Colts in this matchup too. Yeah, you're right. Lambeau is more like, what happens in the wintertime. Although I miss Soldier Field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
good old
mean,
Soldier Field.
it's still there for at least a couple more years, I think, until they get their new
Mm-hmm.
stadium. But
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, so those are we had 10 1 o'clock games set up. But last week, I think we had 8 because they had the
Oh,
Friday
wow.
game, the extra ones. So 10. So, in our joke $1 parlay, if we can go 10 for 10, wait, I was more talking to myself. How much do you think, if we went 10 for 10, how much do you think we would win?
I have no idea. Like $100?
Well, let's go a little bit higher.
Oh,
If
wow.
we go 10 for 10 and we get now everyone, we're looking at 174.04.
Ooh, there's some ones I don't feel 100% good about. But 174, yeah, man, I'll buy Outlast Trials. It's on sale.
We're going to talk about that after this stream. But yeah, I mean, obviously having 10 picks, and we did pick a couple upsets and stuff like that. But yeah,
$174, damn.
for $1. So basically, here's the thing, for
No, that's
people
not
who
bad.
here's the thing. If people who, I did the $10 bets and they did this, that'd be $1,174. Without,
Wow,
no,
we could go
1,740.
to Uno's with that shit kind of money. We can go
We
to
can go to
Louis
Who's
Louis,
with $20. Louis
dude.
Louis will take
All you
10.
can eat, man. Oh my God, sign me up.
But yeah, so all right, so those are our picks. But yeah, I got my 5. Soto's got his 5. I'm 1 up, 3-1. You're 2-2, so it's still close. It's still early in the
Hey,
season,
I'm
and it's
getting
still
behind.
fun.
That's
I
all.
know, I know. It's 1 week. Anything can happen. A big swing. You can go 5-0. I go on 5, and I'm playing catch up. But
Absolutely.
um,
Yes.
but right now we're gonna look at real quick a few of the 4 o'clock games before we go to the Sunday, Monday. We'll take a look at your parlay and stuff like that. But real
Hmm.
quick, one of the first afternoon games being played is LA Rams versus your Cardinals,
Ooh,
and this
my
is actually
Cardinals.
probably the closest, the biggest coin flip out of all of the games. This is tight.
I
So,
see that.
what would you? I mean, are you saying because Cardinals is your favorite bird? Are you picking the Cardinals again? But if
Yeah, why would I change? Why would I
okay.
change that? I have to continue to let it ride. So yeah, Cardinals all the way, baby.
All right. I mean, luckily nothing's on the line, but I'm taking the Rams. But that's also because I got Cooper Cup, and I'm hoping he goes off, and especially with no Puka. But
On
I'll
the
be honest,
road?
I'm just saying I'm hoping. I need Cooper to go off for fantasy reasons. But
Oh, sure.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying I can see this. I can see it either way. Arizona surprised a lot of people with what they did, and I know Buffalo is not the same as they used to be, but the Cardinals were in that game close to the end, and they could have won.
Well, they had
But
Kyler Murray. They didn't have Riddler or whatever the fuck that guy's name was before. So
well, my one worry is that Marvin Harrison Jr. had 1 catch.
yeah, but
There's
also Kyler Murray missed him on a 40-yard like fucking
oh,
wide
did he?
open TD pass too. So like it's there. It's just Kyler Murray has to get used to it. That's all.
Well, that's the thing. Can he get used to it against a high-powered Rams offense and a decent
Fuck
defense?
the
So,
Rams. Fuck
well, we'll
Sean
see.
McVay.
I just
Rams is fucking soft.
are they?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it right now. They're soft as shit. Any team from LA, including the Chargers.
I agree with you on Chargers. Chargers are shit, but I'm just
Hmm.
hoping Palmer has a good game. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna put him in, but Cup I have to start. So, the
Oh,
next
dude,
game,
yeah.
um, I know you said fuck the Chiefs, and I know we talked about the Bengals, but we got the Bengals at the
Ugh,
Chiefs, and
I
I know
can't.
I'm just gonna real quick. You don't have to, but to me, yeah, the way the Bengals showed up or not showed up, I should say, against the Pats. I'm sorry. As much as you hate Pat Mahomes, it's at home. KC is going to run over Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Cincinnati did
no.
not
The
show me a
Patriots
fucking
fucking
thing.
beat the Bengals. Like, I can't fucking imagine the Chiefs aren't going to beat the Bengals.
So,
Bengals are a
so,
shit team. They're overrated.
so if the Bengals beat the Chiefs, and the fact that the Pats beat the Bengals,
Oh, God.
that makes the Pats better than the Chiefs, correct? Is that
I'm
like the
okay with that
logic?
logic. Yeah.
Isn't that the weird logic I always see people try to do? They just try to go
No.
like, oh, false. It's I know
I
it's a
mean,
joke.
you need a quarterback to go against the Chiefs. I mean, like, the Patriots have a great defense, but well, I don't know about great, but they have a good defense,
Good
but
defense.
they
Good
don't have
defense.
anything to go. There's no Tom Brady or anybody else to match the firepower of the Chiefs, but I mean the Bengals are a fraud team. Fucking frauds. Chiefs, I'll give it to you. I don't like Patrick Mahomes, but overall they're a much better team. And plus Arrowhead, there's no way the Bengals win this game, right?
I can't see it, but then again, I thought there's no way the Pats could win the game, and it happened. So, but no, I mean, what we know of the Chiefs, there's just no way. At Arrowhead, there was a time when Burrow and
But the
everything.
Bengals could start 0-2, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think they did last year too. Because remember, Jamar Chase got hurt, and or did he get hurt early? That maybe more midseason. I know Bengals had a not so great start. They kind of made a little bit of a comeback. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so, but I mean, to me, there if there's no way, not against the Chiefs. I mean, sooner or later the Bengals might get back on their winning ways, but they're not going to do well this season. They're going to be a mid
Yeah.
team.
Hmm.
Um, but all right, so the next game that we're looking at, or the final game, this is. So there we go. Hopefully I
Oh,
click this.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the battle of the bullshit. Oh
Oh my God.
man,
I know. So this is the biggest bullshit game. I could care less about any of these teams. Um,
I don't have any players from. I don't have any players from these teams. I have the tight end on the bench from the Steelers, and that's it.
yeah, no. As far as picks go, I mean, if I had to pick, I guess Steelers, just because I don't know. Steelers always could the Steelers go 2-0? Could they really start this 2-0?
They're terrible. I mean, their field goal
I'm
kicker
not
is
saying they're
doing great.
terrible, but they beat the Falcons. If they beat
The
Denver, they're
Falcons are so
realistic.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Cousins like basically has one leg. I was looking at video. He clearly is not stepping into his passes. He's not a quarterback anymore. So I don't know. This is a terrible fucking game.
It is, and yeah, it's luckily a 4 o'clock game, but yeah, I mean, all right. So if I had to pick, Denver's just
Justin
horrible.
Fields, your boy.
Well, no, that. But here's the thing, they, he got him 6 field goals. Justin Fields does what Justin Fields does best. He gets him a little down the field, but he can't, finish the job. He gets, but it's in my. I don't know. I take the under. Anyone that's betting the under, betting the over on turnovers, just bet all that. It just this. I don't. I don't think if I had to pick, I will. I'll take Pittsburgh. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm not happy about it. Both these teams suck. Um, maybe this is
Who's the
like a
quarterback for the Broncos? Bo Nix. Is that
Bo
the
Nix.
quarterback?
Yep, Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos only because Mile High is that home advantage, and that's it. That's it. It's a mile above sea
I,
level. It's hard to play there because it's hard to breathe. That's it. That's all I got.
that's all you got. Though, just what? I can't disagree. I can't. So it's a sloppy game. All right, so now we're looking at the Sunday night game, and this one's
Ooh,
gonna be yours. Bears at
ooh.
Texans. Now, Bears, we saw not a great offensive showing
Yeah,
from
Caleb.
anyone, not
Yeah,
just
not so
the whole
great.
team. But the Bears
Hmm.
did started this way last year too, where last year's first game, DJ Moore got 0 receptions, like he had 0 points in fantasy, and
Sounds
he was
about
supposed
right.
to. But then he showed up later on. So, but anyhow, this is kind of going to be your game. So why don't you talk? Because I know where my heart lies, and so we're going to go with you. But this is your game, and we're going to do a 3-pick parlay. But why don't you talk about what you think is going to happen, and who might win?
I mean, I like the Bears in this. I really liked what they did with the last game. They were down. We thought they were going to lose.
Yeah.
And their defense got them back in the game. Of course, Will Levis is definitely not on the other side. You've got Stroud instead, but hopefully Caleb can improve a little bit more and throw more than 93 yards and do a little more. But I like the Bears in this one. This is like my kind of like my stretch of the week a little bit.
This is tough, and I know I'm a Bears fan, and this is tough, and the only reason is because it is in Houston, and it is C.J. Stroud. He didn't
Yeah.
have the most dynamic game last week, but the Bears defense is more legit than the Indianapolis defense.
Hmm.
So this is to me this the real test. There's two real tests. If the Bears defense can maintain C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud's going to get his yards and he's going to get his points, um, but if they can make it a close game, the question is Caleb Williams. This is the game Caleb Williams needs to show up a little bit more. You can't just be a game manager. And that's the thing. Like I told people, I'm like, yeah, he didn't do
Oh, he's
great.
not even a game manager.
He didn't win it. He didn't lose it. He didn't throw any picks, and that's what Justin Fields and a lot of the past QBs did. And again, he is a rookie. That was week one, and
Game
I
one.
mean, game one, week one. He only had. We talked about preseason. He had only a total of like 20 to 30 snaps in preseason. Obviously, there's practices and two a days and other things. So this will be interesting. I think this is going to be closer than a six, and I hope the Bears defense pulls out. But if Caleb Williams shows up a little bit more and becomes more of a passing threat, hell yeah, they can compete. In Houston, it's tough. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I know that's the thing. I would feel a little bit better if this was in Chicago. All right, so we're going to do a three-pick parlay, and this is live. And I'm
oh,
kind of, we're talking about. We're going to go with the Caleb Williams since that kind of brought up. You had C.J. Stroud last week, um, so the line for Caleb Williams passing yards
hmm.
is 219.5.
What?
That's the
Below.
line. You're all right. That's instantaneous. So that's I'm giving you so under 219.5. All
Who's he gonna
right.
throw
Well, hopefully DJ Moore this time around.
to?
The big question is Roma Dunze. He got injured during that game too, the rookie that they picked up. So that's something to watch. But they still have Cole Kmet, who
Who did
can
nothing?
definitely. Who absolutely did nothing. But here's the thing: I love Cole Kmet as a tight end. He's big. I loved him
Somebody
last
dropped him
season.
in my fantasy league this
I dropped
like
him. Well, I already had
straight up
Kittle.
dropped him.
I did not need a second tight end. But here's the thing: in that offense, I don't love Komet. Like Komet and a lot, like if in a San Fran offense with Kittle, I would, Komet would put up numbers. The problem is, I think, we're going to see how this offense does for Chicago. It's still early. Komet could be someone you could pick up, but you want to see him. You want to see Williams throw to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. You want to see more of that run and gun. Hopefully,
Oh, I
obviously
hate
it's week.
Keenan Allen.
But no. So all right. So we're going to take the under 219.5. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, now, who do you think, if you had to pick any player to score a touchdown, Houston or Chicago? Now if you can pick Caleb Williams if he runs it in or C.J. Stroud if he runs it in, but not throw it in. But so who do you if you had to pick one player to score a touchdown from Houston? So you can go again. You can combine this or Chicago. Who are you picking? You can even pick the
God.
defense. If you think Chicago's going to get a pick six or Houston get a pick six, that counts too if you want to go that route. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, let's one person to score a touchdown. Who would you think is going to score?
Who does Houston have for wide receivers? They have
Nico
Tank
Collins,
Dell too.
Stephon Diggs. They also got Joe Mixon as their bank. They got Tank Dell. Schultz, I think, is their. I'm looking through the whole list because we are doing
Yeah.
this live.
Joe Mixon
Um,
had a good fucking game
He
last
did,
week.
and he out of everyone, he has the lowest odds because of the run. So, but again, you never know. C.J. Stroud might snipe that run. So anyhow, you can pick either or. But yeah, they got Collins. I have Nico Collins. So I hope he scores a lot, but Bears win. That would make me the perfect day. Nico Collins gets his points
Yeah.
for my fantasy, but Bears win. But yeah, if you had to pick one person, um, either or, who do you think would score a
Jeez.
touchdown?
I'd probably go Nico. I want to go Tank Dell, but I'll lean Nico.
You want to? Okay. Nico has a little bit better odds. Yeah, he's like. So if we do Nico, all right. So we got two. We got Caleb Williams under basically 220. Um, this and that. Let's see. Let's look at some defensive
220.
props here. Let me see what. Oh, that would be hilarious. But let's let's not do that one. Um. All right, we did passing. We did touchdown scores. You know what? So I'll give you a choice. I'm going to give you a choice. It depends how silly you want to do your three pick parlay. You kind of picked a winner. Um, do you want to take Chicago +6 as your line, or do you want it as your third parlay, or do you want to do a field goal funny joke kind of parlay?
I like the funny joke one.
Okay, so hold on. Let me slide over. Defensive. So 26 and a half yards. So either the shortest field goal made this game. Do you think it's going to be 26 or under? Do you think there's going to be a short field goal, or is it going to be over? Do you understand? I know I kind of. What is the shortest?
Over.
So you don't
Over.
think there's going to be no field goals 26 yards or under?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Yep.
uh, dun, 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 dun. Oh, you know what? It won't let me add that one. Damn it. Damn you, DraftKings. They do it separately. So I can't. As much as funny that was, we can't add the field goal bet. They do not allow that in the parlay. I
Ooh.
know. It's tough because sometimes I don't know until I pick it. That's why I like doing this ahead of time. But, all right. Let me just see. Passing props, rushing props. All right. So let's stick with the Chicago offense.
Okay.
DJ Moore. We're going to stick with DJ Moore.
hmm
If you had to guess how many yards he was going to get that game receiving,
68.
68. So if we took the 60 plus yards, you want to go with that route?
Sure.
All right. So there we go. We have now our three pick parlay. So I'm going to review this with you. Nico Collins, he's going to score a touchdown. Caleb Williams under 220, but DJ Moore gets 60 plus receiving yards, which makes sense because if Roma Dunzee's out. So if we bet the
hmm
$1, I mean,
hmm
this three pick parlay is kind of small, but you're going to win $12 in that.
Oh, cool.
So
12
yeah,
bucks.
no,
Yeah.
the three
12 bucks get
we're
Taco Bell.
yes. So we have the big 10 pick parlay. We kind of we want to do a few small ones. Placing it now. It is done. We're gonna go with
Nice.
it. So yeah. So I mean, back to this. Yes, my heart's with Chicago. It's in Houston, um, and that's where it's going to kind of be difficult for me to see. So I hope the Bears win. I honestly hope the Bears win, but we'll see.
Yeah. 2-0, baby.
I will take it.
It's my NFC team.
All right, so for the final game, the Monday night game, and now I know why we shouldn't do live parlays because now my phone's trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, because you have to prove that you're in New Hampshire to do or whatever state to do picks,
Oh,
and for
of
some reason
course.
I'm having connection problems, so I might have to do my parlay outside of this thing, but we'll still do it. But anyhow, for the Monday night game, that's the game I will do a three pick, and I'll figure it out later if this doesn't happen. Falcons and
Oh,
Eagles.
God almighty.
We've been talking about this. I'm
Yo.
sorry. I
Yeah.
can tell you this right now, and I will tell you what's probably going to be my
It'll be
three.
higher than that spread. I'll take the spread.
So yes,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I totally agree with you because I was even going to say Eagles +7. So yeah, I mean I'm going to take that. I'm actually taking Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. Out of everyone, I think they're going to have run him in, and
Yeah, this is an easy one.
yeah, I mean the spread is smaller than yeah, definitely a touchdown game, more than 7. So yes, I am going to take Philly plus the spread. Jalen Hurts,
Absolutely.
I feel like they're gonna rush all over it. Actually, no, they got Barkley, right? I may. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw in a very rare one. I'm going to predict Saquon Barkley. I'll keep the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Saquon Barkley is going to get the first touchdown of the game.
Yeah.
The first TD, because he went crazy. Um, who did they face? I already forgot who they faced. Philly faced. But
The
didn't he score
Packers.
like didn't he score like 3 touchdowns?
And it was in Brazil.
That's true too. Oh yeah, that's right. It was in
Yeah.
Brazil. Um,
Yeah.
so Yeah, I am going to tell you right now. I'm going to take the Eagles minus 6.5. I'm going to take Barkley as the first touchdown scorer, and I'm even going to throw in the fact that Jalen Hurts is going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I unfortunately I can't get to the odds because my phone can't connect. But I'm assuming yours was plus 1,100, $12. If I'm looking at, 115, it's probably going to be the same range, maybe a little bit more because predicting someone who's going to score first gets you a little bit extra. Um,
Of course.
and that's,
Yeah.
yeah, I think what happened a couple of years ago is I went like a chart. Well, this was when the Chargers were good. They had Austin Eckler. This is when he was just the hot hand. And I picked
Hmm.
Eckler to get like the first touchdown, so many yards receiving. Like I think it was like 65 yards receiving, 65 yards rushing. For him to go off, and he did it. He netted me like $60 off of just a small bet.
Nice.
It's a few bucks. So yeah, betting the first touchdown score is great because if you hit it, but if not, the rest of your parlays, because the Falcons could score a touchdown first. I don't even think they're going to score a
They
touchdown this
won't.
game. But I'm just saying if they get a fluke one, or if someone else like if AJ Brown gets a touchdown, then yeah, your whole parlay's fucked. I think Saquon Barkley's going to again run all over the Falcons, so I'm going to take him with
Hmm.
the first touchdown plus
I
minus six and
agree.
a half. But
Hmm.
yeah, there we go. That's kind of all our picks. Next time I think we'll have to do our parlay picks offline. Just now that now I kind of realize why we do it that way, just to make sure everything's set and we're prepared. But hey, it's live. Fuck it, we don't
It's
care.
live.
But
Fuck it.
so last week, yes, we lost. Technically, we lost $3. Whoa.
Wow.
But we
What
do
we're
have
gonna
to, we,
do?
we do have two. We have $1 each, like I said, on our Super Bowl bets. So there's that. So yeah, and then we're kind of -5, but it's early. Anything could happen. But it's week one, man. Week one is over. We're down to week
Nice.
two. This
Hmm.
should be good. So what are your expectations this week? What game are you looking forward to seeing? I mean, obviously the Pats, but
Game that I'm looking forward to the most. I mean, honestly, that Tampa Bay Detroit game looks real good. So I want to see how that game's going to turn out because I think that's going to say a lot about what's going on. Um, yeah, that's my big game of the week. Minnesota, San Francisco as well. Seems like a pretty good one too. So those are my two games.
actually I agree with you. Those two games at the 1 o'clock times. I mean, I think that yeah, you're right. Minnesota's going to get tested D wise, and hopefully they can keep up with San Fran, the Christian McCaffrey thing. And yeah, the Tampa Bay and Detroit. I know I picked Detroit, but Tampa Bay, they're showing up. And I know you called the Rams
Good
soft, but
game.
that Rams Cardinals game could be a lot closer, and that might be a surprise game too. It'll be close. All depends on Kyler Murray. If he can hit Marvin Harrison Jr., it's possible that the Cardinals win. But um, yeah, I think that's good. And obviously, yes, I can't wait. I just want the Bears to, even if the Bears lose to the Texans, as long as they compete, that's what I want to see. Just, you lose a close game, whatever. It's when you get your ass kicked. That's when I'm like, God damn it. That's when I have my issues. I
Yeah.
have a lot of issues, so
That's you're a Bears fan. It's okay.
it happens. I've been doing this since Lovie Smith. Yeah, the last 12 years have been brutal. I know people joke for a long time, but they've had great defensives. They've competed, but yeah, the last 12 years have been brutal. When you're only playoff um, showings, I can't say wins, since again Lovie Smith left, was when Mitchell Trubisky leads you to the playoffs. That should tell you something as a Bears fan. He led us twice.
Hmm.
He has a winning record as a Bears QB. Let that sink in. People don't realize this. Love or hate it, he has a winning record as a starting QB for the Chicago Bears,
True.
and it's just hilarious to me. But anyhow, that is our second episode of Picks, Parlays, and Pizza. We will be back
Oh,
next week. We'll
pizza.
see how do our Super Bowl picks go. We'll see how we did. We got some 10. We'll see. I got a 1 game lead over Soto. There's nothing on the line. This is just basically what they say, just a friendly, manly bet. There's nothing,
Yeah.
just pride. But yeah, that 10 pick parlay, Soto. If we hit $174.
Ooh,
I
I'll
know.
take it.
That's why the parlays are kind of tough. You lose one game, it's nothing. But that's why they call it fantasy and they call it betting. So, um, but yeah, until next time, let's go enjoy some football again.
Absolutely.